Okay, Nick and Andy, huge game coming up in the Premier League this weekend as Tottenham Hotspur host Manchester United in what I'd say is a very, very intriguing one in terms of this is a repeat of the Europa League final at the end of last season. We know how that worked out. Spurs won in the Champions League. But Nick, when we look at this, both teams are in a very kind of similar position in the table. Feels like they're both heading in the same direction. What are your thoughts on this? Because Ruben Amorim's turned things around at Man United. Thomas Frank has made a solid start at Spurs, but it feels like they're very evenly matched, these teams, as we head into this game this weekend.
It does. It's the script I've been following for the past few weeks is, are United going to look a little bit better, a little bit more agile, a little bit more adjusted every week? Because, again, basically because of Grimsby Town and last season. Until January, it's who's the next opponent? We got a full week. And if it's a team that doesn't have a full week, we should be able to take advantage of that. Now, that doesn't mean winning, but when it comes to going to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's we're fresh. This is our best 11. And all we've been worried about all week is that team that's across from us.
Andy, how do you like this from a Spurs perspective? Because they got plenty of stick after that performance, the display against Chelsea. Yes, it was only a 1-0 defeat last weekend, but you know, it was pretty telling, I think, in terms of where they're at under Thomas Frank at the moment and the creativity going forward. But then they had a big win in the Champions League in midweek, which, you know, kind of, again, showed us at times maybe as a bit too knee-jerk of a reaction to judge this Spurs team under Thomas Frank so early. I mean, it seemed a bit harsh on Frank, some of the criticism, because this is a process, right? And, you know, trust the process and all that.
Yeah, it's based on what you expect, I think, how you're feeling about Spurs right now. If you expected them to pick up from winning the Europa League and hit the ground running with a new coach and a bunch of new players, then you're probably a little disappointed, because while the results have been generally okay, even the loss to Chelsea, as bad as the performance was, the result was a 1-0 loss. And it could have just taken one little moment for the game to flip the other direction. And so from that perspective, the floor for Spurs has been raised immeasurably from last year to this year. The ceiling probably is about where it was, and they're not going to get there this year. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I think it's pretty clear still in the midfield that there's some issues in there and their ability to progress the ball and get the ball upfield, even just to get it out of their defensive third at times and to not be pinned in. A lot of people are saying, well, you know, you need a midfielder that can pass forward. I think they need somebody further up the field that can receive the ball under a little bit of pressure, be able to keep it, and then bring someone else into play, whether that's a midfielder, it's a center forward. Harry Kane did that job for a very long time. Before him, Moussa Dembele did that job, and so they always had that type of player. And I think that's the role more than anything they're missing in this squad right now. So yeah, I think they're going to struggle to create chances. I think they're going to be pretty solid defensively. It's a functional team, and I think if you just look back 6, 7, 8, 10 months to last season, it was far from that. And so this is progress under Thomas Frank. So I don't think he should be getting any stick at this point. But I do want to see him develop some sort of attacking identity and flow and just system so that they can generate a handful of chances a game.
Yeah, and I think it's been hard for them to generate those chances because of the players that are missing, right? Kulusevski, Maddison, both out injured. Those are two very creative, probably your two most creative players that you're missing. And then obviously Solanke up front's been out injured as well. So that's another big loss. But I think Frank's done it the perfect way in terms of the opening few months at Spurs. Sort out the defense. They look a lot more solid. They're rigid. Yes, it isn't the best, like we said, getting through into midfield and attack, but that will come. I think Spurs, in terms of the pragmatic side of the game, been really good. And if you look at their XG, they're massively outperforming in terms of being more clinical at one end and, you know, maybe being a bit lucky, but giving away less big chances at the other end as well, generally speaking. So I feel like I'm okay where they're at under Thomas Frank right now. Nick, you alluded to it earlier about Manchester United and where they're at. Obviously, they're coming into this game with a healthy, unbeaten run going. Of those 3 wins on the spin that really raised confidence levels. I mean, it's all about the forwards, though, right, for United? Because I feel like Amorim, he's kind of got the system obviously sorted. Everyone knows that now. They're okay defensively. They've kind of sorted out a lot of those big errors they were making. So the big difference this season is Cunha and Buemo. and even Sesko coming into the fore a little bit more, right? And what they're giving United going forward. And that's why I think there's a lot more confidence and hope for United fans this season that they can actually challenge for a top 6 or even go and get in the Champions League this season.
It's funny that we were sitting here talking about how, well, he's going to need his midfielders and he's going to need his wing backs. Like, those are the most important part of his system. And he might have had those wing backs. I mean, I know he brought in Dorgu, but right now, I mean, it's Ahmad and Dalot. And I mean, Dalot to me quietly is, I don't want to go crazy and call him like an MVP or whatever, but like he's been there, right? And he's been stable and he clearly gives a care about the team. I think both him and Bruno will go down as perhaps underappreciated. And I know that's crazy to say because Bruno gets a lot of the love too. But I want to, this is kind of the natural next spot of my analysis is he's looking more comfortable. I think early in the year, he was giving up a lot of chances. He was maybe a little over aggressive because he knew, okay, this isn't my strength. I'm supposed to be tackling. And his chance creation numbers are insane. And I guess it's not a surprise, right? I get to use the Spurs example and keep this, so think of a healthy James Maddison. If you were like, hey, we'd like you to drop back and still create, some things are going to happen that are going to blow your mind in both directions. So, look, this is an ideal situation for United to be in. I don't know that this will work next year if they have more games to play, but right now we're all right.
Yeah, not bad, right? Cunha and Mbeumo have been excellent. And like we've been saying, Amorim's got a full week on the training ground to figure out a plan. And I think the main thing is that throughout all these struggles, United's players have pretty much been on board with Ruben Amorim and seem to like him and his ideas and understand, where they're going. Yes, it's taken a long time to turn the ship around, but it's as much clearer. There is that identity about them and how they play. But I just think it's going to be a big kind of statement if they can go to Spurs and win this weekend in terms of where they can get to this season. And again, confidence and all the rest of it. I think Cunha and Mbeumo have been key to that. Bruno's been great as well. And just like I said, defensively, a lot more solid this season, which is, can't say that about a lot of Man United teams in recent years. Andy, what's your prediction for this game, mate? Because it feels like it's going to be really close.
Yeah, it does. But the way that these teams want to play and the way that they progress the ball and the way that it's almost identical. And so it's going to be kind of the Spider-Man meme, I think, out there. And if either team's able, I think, to generate anything from the center of the field, that might give an advantage to them. I think that probably leans slightly towards United in this one, just because they have Bruno. And if Frank puts out Palhinha, Bentancur, and whoever is the third defensive midfielder in there, I think they're going to struggle. So, but I think Spurs will get something out of it. I'm going to say 1-1. Okay,
that seems about right. And, if Spurs have any struggle scoring goals, just give the ball to Mickey van der Ven on the edge of his own box and he'll probably go and score. What a goal that was in midweek. Probably better than Son's goal. I'm just going to chuck it out there. Nick, in terms of
That's the Spider-Man meme. I was watching it. That was the Spider-Man meme.
That's
just
right.
One's the center back.
Yeah. What's your prediction for this game, mate? Van der Ven hat-trick?
Let's hope so. He's on my fantasy team. Toss up for me. I don't know where you draw the line here, especially with all of Spurs injuries and the added weight of playing in midweek, even though it was a cruise for them. So, and they're at home. So I'm going to go 1-1 as well.
All right, I'm going to go and do it. I'm going to go 2-1 to Manchester United. I just think that on the break, on the counter, I just think the way that their attacking players are flowing at the moment, Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad, it feels like this is the kind of, and again, Spurs have had Man United's number in recent seasons for sure, but just feels something a bit different about United at the moment. And that's what I'm going with. So head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest information on Spurs against United, how to watch, analysis during the game, videos. We'll have you covered. Always a big game, but especially where both teams are at this season, feels like a massive one in North London this weekend.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.